Hello, I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the permanency hearing in foster care. I know I've said that I was going to do this before, and I'm sorry, life gets in the way. And having a 1 year old in the house who had a birthday recently got in the way too. Also, either before this video or after it, somewhere around it, I'll have my video for WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, up as well. And take it with a grain of salt. I'm learning and I'm just giving you my experiences, but I am putting a little video together of my experience shopping for the items at Walmart. So a little comedy in your life there if you want to watch it. But today I'm going to talk about the permanency hearing. Now, I looked online and I could not find hardly anything when I was wondering what a permanency hearing or permanency conference, what a permanency conference was. It's called different things in different states, maybe in different counties, I'm not sure, but we got a letter inviting us, and it was everybody who was invited was on the list to come to the permanency conference for our foster daughter who is a year old. Now, at that time, she had been in our care for, let's see, for about 60 days. It was at the end of May. It might have been 30 days. I'm not sure, but you usually have them. Let me see. I'm going to look down because that's where my notes are. So, okay, these conferences usually happen 30 days, 90 days, and then every 6 months. It might have been the 90-day mark, but I don't think she had been in our care that long at the time, and maybe they don't follow those guidelines, strictly. So anyway, this is who everyone involved in the case is invited to attend. Not all are going to show up. Some may call in, and some people just don't show up. Okay, my handwriting's atrocious, so please bear with me. Your CPS caseworker will be there, and I believe she is required to be there. She's a pretty important part. She has a pretty important role in the care. Your agency caseworker or program coordinator should be there. Ours didn't. Ours didn't come, so I guess that's not that big of a deal for them to not be there. The guardian ad litem, which is the lawyer, the GAL. I probably didn't say that right, but that's the baby's law. I mean, the child's lawyer, and she speaks for the child. That's what she does. I mean, let's say the child is 5 years old, old enough to talk and say they want to be with mom and dad. If they tell her, I want to be with my mom, and mom can be the worst person in the world, I mean, totally unfit, the guardian ad litem, the GAL, has to speak for the child and say that's where the child wants to go. The way I was explained it is, if the child went in off the street, gave her fee, she's for the child, but the child doesn't pay. I mean, it's totally by the state. The CASA, which is the court appointed special advocate, I think that's what that stands for. I need to do a video on the CASA as well because she's very important in our case. Your adoption caseworker, even if it hasn't gone to adoption yet, because she will be an important part if it goes to that. And at the permanency conference, that's one of the things that they're going to talk about is where the case is going. The bio parents should be there. In our case, they weren't, but their lawyers could be there. And again, in our case, they were not. Foster parents, that's us, therapists, and any other person involved in the case. I don't think doctors would go, but anything that's important to the child. The doctors wouldn't have to go because we have our records from the doctor. So anyway, and of course the baby went with us because we didn't have child care that day, and we felt it important to go. Everybody was telling us, "Oh, you don't have to go. It's no big deal. You don't have to go." It was important for us to go because we want to be her forever home if she needs it, and we wanted, even though the CASA was there, who is very speaks for the child as well. And with the baby being there, we wanted to put a face with the name, And, she, of course, stole the show. She was playing with the toys there and having a good time. She's so pretty. Everybody likes her. What they do is they review the progress the parents are making towards their plan, the bio parents, and hopefully they're working their plan to get their baby back. I'll tell you a little bit more about our case as we, well, I really can't say that much, but I'll say what I can. And they're going to ask the progress the child is making in the foster home. For instance, what milestones Blondie may be making. Is she walking yet? Has she gone to her doctor's appointments? Has she gone to the dentist? What activities have I got her in? What kind of food she's eating? I mean, just about her care, things that are important. They're going to review the services the child has or needs. In our case, Blondie didn't need anything, so there wasn't much to talk about. She went to the early childhood intervention, and they said she didn't need any kind of therapies or anything. Of course, that can change as she gets older, but at that time, she didn't need anything. One of the big things they're going to talk about is if termination of parental rights is going to happen. They will discuss this, and they will discuss if there's any relatives who can take the child in for care. They might discuss some tribes' interest if the Indian Child Welfare Act is a factor. Of course, if the child is Native, that would be a factor. In our case, that was a factor, and that was something that was stressing me out because I'm Native. My grandfather is Native American, so of course that makes me Native American as well, in part. And we didn't have any kind of records for that, and it would have just killed me if we lost our baby due to not having records or proof. But so they discuss that, and if that's not applicable, they will not discuss that, of course. There will be discussion of what might happen at the next court days if they are asking for TPR, which is termination of parental rights, relative adoption, or reunification. The goal, of course, is reunification, but sometimes that just can't happen with the parents. But they try to reunify with the family. And in our case, I'll just tell you that is what is going on now. They moved it to relative adoption because there is a relative that might be interested. And so they would have to do their home study and all of that stuff. So the caseworkers in this do not act alone in these decisions. I mean, don't be scared of your CPS worker. Be friends with them. Let them know that you're there for the child and for her, or for the caseworker for the whole case. You're there for the child, the best interest of the child. So you're there to help in any way you can. They do not work alone in these decisions. It's a team effort. And they make the decisions and the plans as a team. There were I would say 12 to 14 people in that room, all there for our little Blondie, for what the best interest of her is. The casework already said, okay, everyone, after the hearing, everyone will leave to work on their part. Like if, the kinship worker will go and do work, look for kinship, or the casework or the lawyer will go and do what she needs to do, and then they, you meet again to have updates, and it's a constant thing. It's not just the baby comes into care and they forget about her. There is a constant plan in action working for this baby's best interest, or for the child's best interest, or the family's best interest, however many kids you have. So I hope that answered some of the questions. In our case, the parents cannot see her because they're not able to. I'll just say that, and because of their situation, the way they left it is they would pursue relative adoption, and if no relatives were available, or the relatives weren't interested, or the relatives didn't pass the home study, then it could possibly go to where we could adopt her. Of course, we're the last resort, and it's just something we have to put in God's hands for what's best for the baby. And so we pray that the caseworkers and the judge and the lawyers and everybody involved we pray that God helps them make the right decisions as well. And so it was a very short little meeting, because there wasn't, there were no family members there to talk. Some of the people didn't show up that were invited, and we're just waiting for her permanency to see if these relatives are interested, or if they pass their home study and background checks and what everybody thinks of Blondie living with them. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is our first go at this rodeo, so I'll answer them as best as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.